Happy Monday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-In time. And today I have Idaho State University's Meridian Campus Executive Director, Gabe Bargan, with us today. Hi, Gabe.
Hello.
And I also have Rex Force, Idaho State University's VP for Health Sciences, with us today. Hi, Rex.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. So, Gabe, you're at the Meridian Campus today, and Rex, you're in Pocatello, right?
That's right. Today I am. Yep.
That's awesome. I love these platforms that we can bring people from all over the place and help share the stories. And so, Rex and Gabe, you know that these check-ins were created to help engage with our members and help share the people and their why and their products and services. And so I'm so excited today to help share a little bit about Idaho State University. And for those that don't know, there's a Meridian campus and there's a health sciences department as well. And I learned a lot of new stuff just from scheduling this conversation. And Rex and Gabe, these check-ins would not be possible without the help of our sponsor, and it's Delta Dental of Idaho. And as you both know, Delta Dental provides best-in-class dental insurance benefits to Idahoans and businesses, and they've been doing it for over half a century. And with that, I'm going to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Did you know that 20% of patients wear braces between the ages of 20 and 60? Looking good, adult peeps.
Lots of braces out there. My kids are just all in their braces now, so it's full throttle with orthodontia. Thank you, Delta Dental. And Gabe, I know you mentioned something about Delta Dental, so please share what you shared with me earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. We here at Idaho State University are also thankful for Delta Dental because they've also provided some funds for us to have our dental residency here on the Meridian campus. And then they've also supported our efforts in Pocatello as well.
Right. We just recently had a very significant upgrade in our dental hygiene clinic that was sponsored by Delta Dental here on the Pocatello campus. So Delta Dental is a great partner all the way around.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again for both of you carving out a little time to educate me and the listeners about the Idaho State University programs and their Meridian campus. But first, let's learn about you both really quick. And I love to start these off learning a little bit about the history and how you both landed in healthcare and in education. So, Gabe, why don't we start with you as the director for the Meridian campus?
Yeah, absolutely. My background is in speech language pathology and then audiology. And so once I finished my training in audiology, I was looking for a place to come to teach academia. And I was doing some research and saw some pretty amazing people that were already at Idaho State University. And so I thought, gosh, if they're here, this must be a great place. So I came and I fell in love as soon as I got here with my doing my interview. And I have been here now for 12 years. I did mostly teaching in the audiology program. And then I became program director for the PhD in rehabilitation and communication sciences. And then recently I was named the executive director for the Meridian campus. So I've been in the Meridian area for 12 years now and just enjoying it a lot.
Awesome. Rex, what's your history of work?
So I've been on campus at Idaho State. I'm in my 30th year, actually came in 1993. I'm an academic pharmacist and did my training at Oregon State University, then the University of Texas, and then at Ohio State University before I came here. And my background is as a clinical pharmacist, practitioner, and researcher. My research was in the area of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. And I taught for many, many years in our Doctor of Pharmacy program, as you might expect, but also helped with the very first class of our physician assistants. And I've taught the majority of our family medicine residents at ISU. We have a graduate medical education program that trains family physicians for rural practice in Idaho. And that program has been going for 30 years also. So my background was through that academic path. And then eventually 6 years ago, was named to this role as the first vice president for health sciences at ISU.
Wow, what you mentioned about providing information and training for rural health leaders, that is crucial. That is what we need right now, hands down.
No question. It's one of our big focus areas here at ISU, and we can talk more about that as we go through the interviews today. But we send a lot of students out to rural areas, and we have a lot of our clinical services out in rural areas as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, for those that don't know, that maybe even new to the community, Idaho State University has a Meridian Campus. And maybe, Gabe, you can kind of fill us in on some of the different programs offered at your campus.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have access to over 40 different degrees on the Meridian campus. I know. A lot of those could be a little bit of online, a little bit of in-person, sometimes hybrid. Most of them are graduate programs. So we do have a few students that might do transfer. So they've already completed maybe their freshman, sophomore year, and then they transfer in to finish up on the Meridian campus. But the majority of our programs are graduate programs. We have 19 master's degree programs, 9 doctoral degrees, and then we even have some postdoctoral with our dental residency and then the pharmacy program as well. Programs that some of the bigger ones that we have here, we have physical therapy, which is a doctoral program. We also have the pharmacy program. So the College of Pharmacy is located here in Meridian and also on the Pocatello campus. And then we also have our physician assistant program. But most of the health sciences programs are located here. We just expanded the occupational therapy program to have their master's. They have a master's cohort here on the Meridian campus. So yes, we have quite a few master programs and doctoral programs on the Meridian campus.
Where are you located, Gabe?
We are just off Central Drive. So if you're heading down the interstate, you can see our sign, I hope, off the interstate. So we're just right off of Locust Grove and kind of nestled in between Locust Grove and Meridian Road in the pretty much almost the heart of Meridian.
Okay. Yeah. That's such a convenient space, especially because there's just, the Treasure Valley has the population and I always want my kids to stay here to go to school, right? We'll see if we can keep them here. So Gabe or Rex, what is the origin story of the ISU Meridian campus? Take us back to when and how all that started.
Sure. Well, a lot of our programs, we have the statewide mission for. Most of those programs that Gabe mentioned, we're sort of the only game in town when it comes to training physical therapists or PAs or even pharmacy students, speech language pathologists, audiologists, all of those. You can only get a degree in the state of Idaho from Idaho State University. And we recognized years ago with the population center being in the Treasure Valley that we needed to do some training to be able to place students there, not only for their clinical rotations, their experiential learning, but also because that's where they were likely to be employed in the end. And so we had pharmacy faculty, and I think pharmacy was the first in the Treasure Valley, going back 35 plus years. But they didn't really have a campus. We sort of had a little TV studio where they would teach back to the main campus, not different from what we're doing today, but with much older technology. And then about 12 years ago, it was 2009, so going on 13 years ago, the J-Bill building, which was a semiconductor plant, became available.
Yeah.
And that's where we're located. So we share this building with West Ada School District. We also have the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine on our campus as well. So ICOM is right across the parking lot from us. And that building, we have well over 200,000 square feet now already built out. A bunch of that has occurred just in the last 5 years. And our much of that build out has been supported by the Sam and Aline Skaggs Family Foundation. It's known as ALSAM Foundation. And if people remember Skaggs Drug Stores, yep. Sam Skaggs was from American Falls, Idaho, and they have philanthropically supported half a dozen pharmacy schools in the Western United States. Wow. And we were fortunate enough to be a partner with that foundation. And they provided a ton of funding, literally millions of dollars, to stand up our programs on the Health Science Center campus in Meridian.
Well, with the growth of retail and retail having pharmacy, especially like Albertsons that I know of specifically, that's a huge engine that needs to support the growing community that we have. So, that's very relevant. Thanks for sharing that origin story.
Sure.
And then, Gabe, I think I want to hear a little bit more about, or maybe this question is directly for you, Rex, and maybe Gabe, you can chime in. There are clinics that the ISU Meridian Campus has for the community. Tell and share with me a little bit more about that, because I had no idea about this before our call.
Right. All health professions are basically apprenticeships, Paul. We need to have training for our students in the clinical setting. And so we utilize a lot of community partners for that training, many different clinics, hospitals, other types of facilities where our students can gain experience before they graduate and take their boards and then become licensed or certified providers. But one of the things that we realized is that, A, we have a ton of expertise in our faculty to be able to provide very specialized care. And second of all, we have a need for additional training for those students under the watchful eye of their faculty. And so we've been growing clinics. We have 16 or 18 clinics across the state. We do telehealth. And these clinics vary from a dental clinic to a speech pathology lab type clinic, audiology clinics, which is Gabe's discipline. We have nurse practitioners providing clinical services, nutrition and dietetics, pharmacy services. Our PAs are clinically active. PT and OT have clinical facilities. So these are available. Much of what I just mentioned are available on the Meridian campus. We've just recently remodeled that part of the campus so that it's a very interdisciplinary kind of clinic, meaning you could see a medical or nurse practitioner provider and have physical therapy done at that clinic as well as if speech language pathology services were needed, those would be available to a client, in addition to those other sort of medically based services. We also have counseling services available because we have several different counseling programs going on the Meridian campus. And obviously, access to mental health care is a big thing that ISU's very much involved with. And these are very strong programs that we have in counseling as well. So it's really what we call an interdisciplinary clinical facility. It is available to the general public, and it offers all kinds of great services for healthcare.
And Gabe, what would you add to that? I know that just looking on the website, and I pulled it up here for everybody to see, you can look at all the different clinics and all the different programs that are offered at the Meridian campus, but add to what Rex is talking about.
Yeah, I would say the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is we have an amazing anatomy and physiology laboratory here on the Meridian campus. We have virtual labs for our A&P for students that want to come in and just look at an anatomage table and check out different, do some studying. But then we also have our the cadaver lab here that not only our students take part in that, but we also support the ICOM students as well in their learning. And then we have outside individuals that can come in and do training as well through our anatomy and physiology lab. So that's, I think, one of the only things I could think of that we haven't mentioned quite yet.
That lab is really state of the art. It's one of the best anatomy and physiology labs, and we have what's called bioskills. That's where we do continuing education that Gabe was mentioning. So we might have a group of surgeons come in and learn about a new medical procedure, or we might have EMTs come in and learn about doing, a new life-saving technique. And that lab is really fascinating for one thing, but it also provides a great resource to the community. We also, and Gabe touched on this a little bit, Paul, we invite lots of high school students into these labs. We actually have a television studio in the lab so that we can teach like we're talking today with distance education and reach students that are anywhere in the world, but certainly in more rural areas of Idaho who want to learn about anatomy and physiology. So that lab is a fantastic resource to the community, as Gabe said, and really complements the teaching that goes on in so many of our programs.
How many students does Idaho State University have across the state?
So we have right around 10,000 students across the state. That's undergraduate, graduate, dual enrollment, and students in our career and technical education program. We have a College of Technology here on the Pocatello campus. About 40% of those students are on a path to health sciences careers.
Oh, wow.
So either as an undergraduate, doing their prerequisites. As Gabe said, some students have to do 2 or even 4 years of school before they get into their professional program or graduate program. And about 1,000 of those students are on the Meridian campus, just under 1,000. And as Gabe said, most of those are in their professional program. So they're in the PT program or the pharmacy program. They're not doing their prerequisites. They've already completed them.
I knew a little bit about that, you being the hub of all health sciences degrees, but this is so refreshing to just put it on the top of the inbox again, right? And help share that. Hey, while I have you for a few more minutes, is there anything else that you'd like to educate me or the listeners on?
Well, I think, going back to what we talked about earlier with rural healthcare, one of the things that we're getting into more and more, and COVID actually helped with this, if COVID helped with anything, and that is telehealth. So we have a lot of our programs, and our students are training in areas of telehealth to be able to reach out to folks that are homebound, but also folks in rural areas and be able to deliver care. A few years ago, we started a program where we send our audiologists up to Salmon, for example. Oh. We can do telehealth with speech language pathology. We do it with providing pharmacy services in rural areas. And in fact, we have 3 telepharmacies across the state that are the only pharmacies in those counties. Otherwise, the residents in those counties would not have easy access to pharmaceutical products. They'd have basically 100 or 120 mile round trip to fill a prescription. And these are in the communities of Chalice, Arco, and Council. So, we really do have that sort of rural healthcare emphasis. We have an Institute of Rural Health, which helps to study rural health issues. And, although the Treasure Valley is far from rural, we're providing that care and that outreach from that campus to some extent. We're going to be growing our students' experience in telehealth because that's really important given the challenges in delivering healthcare today.
And Gabe, as far as students applying, when's a good time? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, most of our enrollments typically have the typical start in the fall, right? So actually, applications are being accepted right now. Okay. Typically, we review those right at the beginning of the year, so January, February timeframe, and then students are notified if they are accepted. So right now is a great time to start looking at those applications and getting your references, right? And getting them in order. Some programs do have rolling admission, but not everyone. Most of them have a set curriculum that we really do have to start in the fall.
And folks that are interested in attending some classes and applying can just go to your website, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And we have a complement of health sciences advisors to help students make that transition and plan for coming into these programs. Those are available again on our website to reach out to that team and get students prepped. We do a lot of recruitment in the Treasure Valley. So from BSU, Northwest Nazarene, College of Idaho, College of Western Idaho, all of those schools provide students in a feeder pipeline to ISU.
Well, we're the benefactor of your school here in our Treasure Valley. And I just want to say thank you so much for being the hub of health science degrees here in the state of Idaho, as well as being a member of the local chamber. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Paul. We really appreciate the Boise Metro Chamber for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Paul.
Enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to next time we get to see each other.